wastes or raw materials. Economic activity on a global scale generates larger and larger quantities of byproducts. Is it a raw material that can be utilised in another process, or waste to be disposed of? Such a question is more and more frequently asked as we live in times of higher and higher density in production. The presence of waste, as one of the byproducts generated by economic activity, signals the fact that there is no technology to process these byproducts in a timely and on-site manner, raising our concerns about their existence and how to return to a safe environment. In nature, there is no concept of waste. Products from one cycle become raw materials for the next one, each process being part of a closed natural cycle. This ideal balance is a blueprint for the creation of technologies to manage our own wastes, converting them into value-added and marketable products. Activities aimed at the creation of environmentally friendly technologies are being stimulated by governments within the European Union, who are making strong efforts to create the legal framework which can foster such efforts. FuelCal technologies are a solution which is in line with these environmental efforts to address the ever-increasing quantities of byproducts. FuelCal technologies represent the missing link in the natural environmental cycle, taking byproducts which used to be called wastes and using them as vital raw materials, producing a wide range of valuable and environmentally safe products. They are proving that this belief can be successful in solving existing byproduct problems. FuelCal technologies are offering ways and means for solving these problems by offering not only the know-how, but also the machinery and equipment for a successful solution. The reactor is the core element in FuelCal technologies, where special reagents are used to sterilize and transform the raw material. At the beginning of the process, raw material is converted into a homogeneous mass by grinding or shredding it, and is then fed into the reactor in continuous and precise quantities. To perform this operation, special preparatory equipment is used which is chosen depending upon the type of material to be processed. A buffer tank is used to ensure that the prepared pulp is supplied to the reactor in a controlled and stable quantity. The reagent silo and dosing unit are located on the other side of the processing installation. After the process, a dry and safely granulated product is received from the outlet of the reactor. FuelCal technology processes these products: byproducts from slaughterhouses and meat processing plants, sewage solids from wastewater treatment plants, liquid and semi-solid manure from pig, cow and poultry farms, eliminating odour, nuisance and liquidation problems, refinery and other oil industry wastes, safe carcass disposal for bird flu or other animal epidemics. FuelCal technology generates these products: lime organic fertilizers, soil conditioners, renewable FGD type fuels with flue gas desulfurization capabilities, corrective additives for the cement industry, sanitization materials for waste dumping areas. Let's have a closer look at each field of application. Slaughterhouse wastes, or, as defined in EU Directive 1774 of 2002, byproducts from abattoirs and meat processing plants not intended for human consumption. Byproducts generated, for example, in poultry slaughterhouses, for example heads, legs, intestines, blood and others, comprise 25% of the total mass of the raw poultry weight. The typical Polish slaughterhouse, processing 70,000 chickens per day, generates approximately 40 tonnes of byproduct daily. Relevant EU directives and veterinary regulations are demanding that operators of such slaughterhouses apply special procedures for processing and transporting poultry byproducts, and their collection and storage before disposal. In a storage facility, byproducts should be collected and stored inside special containers supplied by disposal companies. Containers should be watertight, disinfected, and adequately prepared for storage and transport conditions. In specific locations in Poland and in other countries, these containers sometimes have to be transported more than 400 kilometres to the disposal plants. These huge distances are caused by the fact that only a few disposal plants in Poland are able to process byproducts according to the current regulations. This situation is the reason that disposal fees are so very high. However, what is even more important is that the level of risk is also rising. In a road accident, any infected material being transported would become a greater source of infection. It should be stressed that not all types of byproducts are welcome raw materials for the major disposal companies. For example, poultry feathers are treated as a second-rate material and not worth processing. It sometimes happens that instead of disposal in the prescribed manner, poultry feathers are collected in piles and then undergo a so-called wild composting, where the rotting generates intense odours, creating conflicts with local communities. The solution to all these problems is FuelCal technology. This technology is efficient and profitable, regardless of what kind of byproducts are being processed. The actual technology in most cases is similar, just the preparatory stages are different. For the technology to be optimal, byproducts fed into the reactor should be uniformly shredded and then mixed into a homogenized pulp. Raw material pieces should generally be smaller than 12 millimeters and should possess a stable flowing capability. To achieve this, feathers are shredded and other types of materials ground. The received pulp is then collected in the buffer tank and fed into the reactor inlet. What are the reasons that such different materials, after leaving the reactor, have become dry, granulated and sterilized, and even more, protected forever from bacteria regeneration or external infection? There are three main elements: high temperature, high basic pH, usually about 12 points, gaseous ammonia presence in the reacting mass. The process can operate in either a single batch mode or a continuous mode, depending upon need, with temperatures between 70 degrees Celsius and 140 degrees Celsius. No emissions of dangerous substances such as sulfur oxides, dioxins or nitrogen oxides, typical in other high temperature processing technologies, are created with this manner. So, how much does it cost for the heat energy needed for processing and sterilization? It's pleasantly surprising that all the needed heat is generated by only the chemical reaction in the reactor. Heat is generated in a safe and environmentally friendly manner. During the chemical reaction, water evaporates as steam and is evacuated from the reactor. Water used for cooling and steam condensation in the heat exchanger can be a source of substantial quantities of hot water for free. Additionally, some quantity of ammonia is generated, which can be absorbed by special substances, creating valuable fertilizing salts. In the beginning phase of the process, a highly concentrated milk of lime is created in the reacting mass. The high pH of this hot water lime hydrate solution is deadly for practically all bacteria and viruses. Much scientific evidence exists that the three independent sterilizing elements, temperature, high pH and gaseous ammonia, working in synergy, are the reason that the granules leaving the reactor contain no living organisms, and the lime hydrate present in the product efficiently protects it from any biological regeneration. Mobile processing installations based on FuelCal technology are our company's latest products. These FuelCal technology capabilities are also the reason that this technology can be an excellent tool for solving problems with processing infected materials, as in the case of epidemic outbreaks, for example bird flu. In this case, the best solution is to use a mobile version of the processing installation, especially valuable in the situation where the risk of bird flu epidemic outbreak in Europe is constantly growing. Our mobile system concept is that, in normal conditions, mobile installations are operated in dedicated areas dealing with the processing of carcasses, manure and so on. In the case of an epidemic outbreak, the same installation can be transported to an infected area in a few hours to process all infected material into a sterilized granulate. Dr. Zbigniew Wozniak, State Head Veterinary Inspector. Mobile processing installations based on FuelCal technology, according to my knowledge, are potentially the best possible solutions for solving problems connected with processing and sterilization of materials infected by bird flu viruses, especially if the sterilization and disinfection are performed immediately and at the site of the epidemic outbreak. With such solutions, there is no need to transport infected material to distant processing plants, which is additionally cost-effective. FuelCal technology can be applied to all kinds of animal byproduct processing, slaughterhouses, animals killed in road transport accidents, or the result of normal farming activity. In many cases, total processing costs using mobile installations are lower than transport costs to remote disposal plants. Let's hear again from our specialist. There are reports from local veterinary inspectors about numerous cases of illegal practices where, due to very high disposal costs, dead animal bodies are buried in the ground by farmers in the vicinity of their farms. We are obliged to react in such cases according to regulations. Farmers are punished, but it will be much better if available low-cost processing installations can create a situation where there will be no economic reason for such illegal practices.
Bardzo istotny problem, który istnieje na terenie województwa lubuskiego, a który się pogłębia.
Processing technologies existing in the disposal industry are assuring only temporary product sterilization. Various animal meals produced from so-called Category 3 and 2 materials are widely used as soil conditioners or fertilizers. Such products need to be safely stored until the appropriate season, spring or autumn. After only a few weeks' storage, especially in uncontrolled conditions or if in an open area, they decompose due to so-called rotting bacteria. Piles of animal meal are in reality bacteria factories, their population doubling every 20 minutes. When then applied to the soil, they are deadly dangerous to normal soil bacteria communities. There are also real dangers to the people involved in the disposal of these soil improvers. Similar dangers also exist in facilities storing animal meals and fats before incineration or co-incineration. Material output from FuelCal technology can never create such dangers due to the protection from biological life regeneration. FuelCal technology products could not be used in an illegal manner, such as feeding animals, due to the lime hydrate presence in the product. Our specialist says, what I saw during the technology presentation, if proven on a large industrial scale, could be a real breakthrough in disposal technologies in not only a local but also a national and international scale. FuelCal technology can also be implemented in wastewater treatment plants. Regardless of how sophisticated the wastewater processing technology, in the end we always have a sewage sludge processing problem. Special sewage sludge deposit fields, regardless of the very costly investment, are occupying huge areas. Sludge stored in them is dangerous and due to the very bad odour creates conflict with local communities. FuelCal technology solves such problems. Sewage sludge, after concentration in a centrifuge or belt press, is delivered to the reactor and after a few minutes exits the reactor in the form of a dry, safe and environmentally friendly granulate to be used as a material for waste deposit sanitation or as a fuel with off-gas desulfurization capabilities. Another area of application. Pig, poultry or cow farms have acute problems with liquid manure storage, processing and disposal. Again, FuelCal technology can be implemented. At first, the organic matter should be separated from the bulk of the liquid manure to be processed in the FuelCal reactor into value-added dry lime organic fertilizers. Existing separation technologies in the market are able to concentrate manure to 30 to 40% of the organic matter. The remaining liquid with a very low organic component and free from bad-smelling substances can be processed in a typical wastewater treatment plant. Purified water stored in existing lagoons can be the base for making so-called suspension fertilizers. Simulations show that this approach to liquid manure problems, manure processing installations can generate additional profits for farm owners. Let's summarize again FuelCal technology benefits. Many different byproducts can be processed on site and promptly into value-added marketable products. Processing installations can be put into operation in 10 minutes and stopped in 20 minutes. Processors can operate from 200 kilograms per batch to 2 tons per hour in continuous mode operation and can be increased by simply adding 1 or more reactors. There are 3 sterilizing elements working simultaneously with synergetic effects. One mobile installation can serve several small-scale sites. Mobile installations can serve as the best possible tool in the case of epidemic outbreaks. All products can be safely stored in piles for long durations in dry, open areas. All products are value-added and marketable.